and we welcome you to Talladega Superspeedway for tonight's running of the Palm Rack Golf Road and Plate Series for the season finale. A champion will be crowned tonight, and we assume it's going to be Brian Molitor, as he has it pretty much all locked up. But, let me introduce ourselves. I'm Joshua Copperell, back, and I got Adam Kuhn with me tonight. So, Adam, how you doing?
Doing well, Josh. Excited to be back in the booth for the first time in a little bit, and of course, here at Talladega, like you mentioned, no better place to be back, and it's going to be another fun night, I think, here on JCTV. Probably one of our most popular tracks altogether in the history of JCTV broadcasts.
This track, it is pretty popular overall anyway, but you know, you take a bunch of drivers on iRacing and throw them in here, especially in where anything can happen. A whole lot of drivers know this is a chance that they can win at, and just kind of adds more to the drama.
You mentioned almost anyone can win at, and that's pretty much the theme of this series. Road and plate, splitting the season on the road courses and these super speedways, and we got a little taste of that a few weeks back at Daytona with a crazy race that was, and with this being the finale tonight, Josh, of the season, these guys' last shot, if they don't have a win on the board, to cement that, and they're going to have a lot of aggressive drivers who are usually trying to just, fight for some respectable finishes.
Yeah, and we saw a winner in Michael Kruger at Daytona. I'll tell you, one driver, though, that really was someone that opened up my eyes was Laura Wiseman. I mean, Wiseman was tearing it up. I believe won the pole as well. I believe she won the pole at Daytona. Currently 7th after one qualifying lap so far here at Talladega. Let's see if she can get another pole.
If I remember right, that pole lap at Daytona was on her second lap.
Yeah, I do believe that is correct. And I remember I was actually kind of surprised about that too. I didn't feel like the line that her or actually there was a couple of people that were running the same line. I didn't think it was a traditional qualifying line that would have been quick. I was proven wrong. Laura Wiseman, top of the board. 54.222 for that 84 machine. Still a lot of time left, a lot of qualifiers to go. 9 drivers have taken the time so far. We're watching Benson Weaver in the 1.
Someone who has qualifying time on the board, both laps completed, is Samuel Stoner, who's in the bracket tonight that we'll talk a little bit more about once we get going in the race, Josh. I'm not really, I am completely surprised with the lap times he put down. He was really fast in Daytona just a few weeks back and had a good qualifying run, I thought, at Daytona, and he's more just about 2/10 off here.
It's something to keep an eye on for sure. I'm really looking forward to seeing, I mean, just, this whole bracket that has been going on since Daytona. We're now down to the final 2 drivers, which, as you mentioned, Sam Stoner, the other one, Jay Bast. And both of them have been incredible to watch this season. I'm not surprised by any means to see that they're the ones going for it. And the prize for that, it's $50 in iRacing credits. So it's quite a bit of chunk of change there for somebody.
Just about to say we had our first couple of threats at that pole run set by Laura Wiseman, and Steve Loving is going to go top of the board provisional pole, just 100th of a second faster.
Evan Hoopchak was pretty close, 100th behind. We watch Benson Weaver still. Weaver goes P8. And now let's watch the Daytona winner, Michael Kruger.
In the session just a little bit late as this qualifying period begun. Just taking the green flag here for lap number 1, Josh. Going to be really wide here. Real quick, you mentioned going back to Benson Weaver, the last car we just watched to complete that lap. A lot of cars really close in the 54.2 range. It's going to be the top 8 cars right now in that bracket.
Qualifying times can be really, really close here. Kruger going to the bottom of the track there in 4 and right back to the top. I'm questioning this line, but hey, I did that at Daytona too, and it got the driver the pole. So Kruger's first lap is complete. It's going to be P16.
And that's roughly the same lap that Weaver was able to run on his first lap before he was able to go almost a second faster on lap number 2. So we had some movement on the leaderboard. Josh, 67, I should say, goes to P3. About thousandths of a second off the 84's lap.
Qualifying still proven to be close. Michael Kruger, the only one on track right now. He's going all the way down to the apron, trying to get everything he can. It is P5 for Michael Kruger. 54.249. So I think that's like gonna do it for qualifying. There are still some drivers that have not been out on track. There is one driver still on track, but and that is Steve Loving. Both his qualifying laps are over. So, first of all, big thanks to Dalton Kilrow last week for filling in. I had an adventure. My job needed me to go to third shift for a couple weeks, and so it kind of made us scramble a little bit to figure out somebody to take over production for last week, and Dalton Kilrow stepped up and helped out a lot. It's his first time doing it, and also I was very surprised. He only has one monitor. I cannot imagine trying to produce on one monitor. In fact, I wish I had 3, but two is good enough. So big thanks to Dalton Kilrow and Jonathan Canfield, as always. Today is his little girl's first birthday, so Canfield isn't here. So he's celebrating his daughter's birthday. So thank you, Adam, for coming and joining tonight as well.
Yeah, of course, I'd rather be out with these guys competing tonight at Talladega, but I wasn't able to make the race that I wanted to at Indianapolis a few weeks ago on the road course to be able to be eligible to race tonight. So that unfortunately killed my plans on that, so it made me available to step up in the booth tonight.
We do appreciate it for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup. Steve Loving will start on the pole. Laura Wiseman starts second. Third, it's going to be Nick Sarif. Evan Hoopchak starts fourth. Fifth place is going to be Michael Kruger. Dustin Bally starts sixth. Seventh, Robert Ropst. Brian Molitor starts eighth. Ninth place, Jay Bast, one of your two bracket finalists. And Daniel Ott in 10th.
Benson Weaver starts 11th. James Moore qualified 12th. Tom Wheat starts 13th with Edgar Sanchinioli, sorry about that, in 14th. And Nathan Gentry 15th. Samuel Stoner, the other one of our bracket competitors, qualified 16th. Johnny Rapp was the last driver to post a time in that qualifying session. He lines up 17th. Brandon Caro starts 18th, and Brandon Brush 19th with Chuck Labano 20th as they start to roll off the grid.
Ryan Campbell 21st, Mike Thompson 22nd, and Aaron Bray 23rd. And that is the starting lineup for tonight. For the sprint race. Just a reminder, it is 2 races. First one a sprint, second one a feature. Top 10 get inverted. And there will be a pit stop in the feature. Pace car is making its way to pit road. A little bit further down the line for the restart zone. Steve Loving is going to find it. The green flag is waving. We're underway here at Talladega. A lot of movement already towards the back. Laura Wiseman hanging strong on that outside line. Oh, we got a spin. Is that Carl? It is Carl. Somehow still green. There's the caution.
Stoner's got up right in the middle of that in the 65.
You're right. Stoner is heavily damaged. Take a look at the replay here. Pretty wide. I don't know if that was side drafting gone wrong. That was not a very good angle.
To me, it looked like the 57 just drifted up into turn 3 there, Josh.
Yeah, a little bit. Sanchinioli.
Man, Samuel took a big hit right into his door. Think that's where most, if not all of the damage on that 65 came from. Actually.
So the good news for Stoner is this is only the sprint. This race is not going to decide the outcome between Stoner and Bast.
Yeah, the good news is basically he doesn't have to race the car in the main event, whatever happens here. It's a brand new car once we swap into the main event.
Yes, so that will help. Jay Bast, of course, is P8. Stoner coming down pit road. Looks like Sanchinioli is
Santinelli disconnected.
Disconnected.
You mentioned the start for the 84 Laura Wiseman outside pole sitter, and really just trying to stay up there and commit up there. There's not anything you can do when you're starting out there unless you have something coordinated with the actual pole sitter. And you mentioned before that incident happened, Josh, how the bottom was a little bit more together, and they were really pushing on that bottom line between the 67 Nick Serif and Michael Kruger. No surprise there between Kruger trying to be aggressive early in this race.
You know, about the only time I like restarting or starting on the outside, specifically in second place on plate races, is when it's an open setup. Because I know the setups I have are really good setups, and you really have a good chance. Fixed setups, much like what this league is, it is harder. And I'm actually very impressed with how Laura Wiseman was able to stay up there. Really, the entire outside line staying together. And Wiseman, I noticed, got right down on the door of Loving, trying to side draft immediately. Wiseman, I think, wants to lead this race and see if she can get a race victory tonight.
Such a unique format here in this road and plate league, Josh. You mentioned just a little bit at the start of this sprint race. I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I raced at Daytona a couple weeks ago, but I had no expectations and I really enjoyed it. I thought the sprint race was really fun. I didn't enjoy myself in the feature, but I was just more of circumstance of where I was at in the pack and how everything developed from there. But the format itself, I think, is very, very dynamic and interesting. It's a lot of fun as a driver, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun to call tonight here at Talladega, as we have some shenanigans under caution. Some guys arguing over spots back here.
Well, to go back on to your point, this is a league that if I wasn't broadcasting, I would love to be a part of. I'm not a road racer. If anybody knows me, I cannot race road courses very well. The Xfinity car, B-class car like these guys drive, I don't know. I think it would be even tougher than what I am used to with like the Cup car, or I've driven trucks as well on road courses on Saturday nights. But this whole thing just intrigues me very much, and I've been loving it as a broadcaster. And it's not very long until the next season starts either. Like we've only got just a couple weeks, and then we'll be right back here for the next season. So I've been having a blast every week calling these races, and I know I sound like a broken record. I keep saying that. I really mean it. This has been so fun over the course of the season.
In my opinion, it's my two favorite types of NASCAR stock car racing. So,
Oh yeah.
I really intrigued when I heard this was coming along onto JCTV. So we're getting ready for this restart finally.
Before they get to the restart zone, I want to say I may be bad at road racing, but I still like it.
Agreed, especially on my end.
Yeah. So the green flag is back out. 12 to go here in the sprint.
One thing we didn't really talk about when we were talking about the lanes, Josh, that outside we see that a lot of guys always just fade down if there's an opening on that bottom. So that's the preferred lane, especially on a restart. There's only 3 or 4 cars committed to that outside right now, especially at the front of the pack. Although, as I say that,
Starting to form up, Kruger. Trying.
no surprise, trying to get around a poster of got a push from the 67 of Nick, and he's gonna push him through the tri-over.
Kind of out of line. Oh, they're gonna put Kruger in the sucker hole. Nobody going there with Kruger. Loving continues to lead this race. Hoopchak pushing Loving. And then it is Wiseman and Seraph on the top line. Kruger might have a friend in Gentry. A couple car lengths behind, but... well, actually...
very aggressive block from the 67. I didn't think he was clear on
that. Oh, there's contact. And they're all going straight.
Wiseman just kind of crowded Kruger a little bit there. Bounced into the 7. Great save from Hoopchak on that, Josh.
That was incredible. Whenever your car goes onto the apron and try to get it back on the track, it's tough to deal with, and some movement up front.
Loving pushed Nick in the corner there and really upset that 67, and he's going to give the advantage to the outside. James Moore has been stuck to the rear of Kruger since Kruger found himself back in the line.
They're going to go to the bottom. Benson Weaver wanted to make a third line. Moore goes back to the middle, or the outside rather.
Yeah, Moore kind of faked Kruger out there. He looked like he was going to commit with the 40 and follow him, and then last moment stayed in his line. 67's going to get right back to the back of the 40 here and almost have a as they all call back up to Kruger.
And here comes, I believe, yeah, that's Dustin Bally on the outside line with a push from Brobst.
Bally and Brobst were making big steam on the bottom. I have no clue how they made it all the way to that third lane. Oh, they're going to get blocked off big time onto the back straightaway.
Benson Weaver moves up, so does Moore. And now that leaves Ott and Gentry in the middle, but Seraph and Loving go there. They leave Kruger.
That was almost going to be a clear path to the lead for the 29 until 67-27 moved up like you mentioned. Nick Seraph trying to take control of this race, Josh, since he's gotten to the front. He's been one of the, if not most, aggressive blockers up front.
Another driver to keep an eye on is Daniel Ott. Always running up front these kind of races. I believe won the sprint race at Daytona. Kind of in the middle right now, no help. And now look at Hoopchak.
Yeah, that could be where the 29 wants to be. Sorry, Josh. We saw he almost had a clear path right through the middle there once. The middle and the top got bogged down. Could be a really good spot if he isn't blocked in like he is right now, unfortunately. You mentioned that move from Hoopchak. He's got the 53 tucked in.
Jay Bass working his way up to the front. Bass pushing Hoopchak. I believe that's Gentry moves up to the top lane. There's really not a lot of drivers up there. So it continues to dwindle down. Hoopchak to the lead.
We get 7 to go. You mentioned that 53 car. Just 2 cars back from him is the 65 involved in that first incident. So not a battle right now, but if they stay in the top 10, it's going to determine their starting position for the future here in a couple laps.
Yeah, they both would be having a different starting position than where they finished. Oh! Who was that? Was that Thompson? Wasn't Thompson that I was looking at, no, but... oh, they're wrecking anyway.
Ryan Campbell. It was Ryan Campbell, and it looks like it was a 1-car incident in turn 1. Oh, that's the number 5 of Brobst.
So Ryan Campbell was the one I saw go in the grass. Robert Probst. We'll back it up. Oh, maybe saw an opportunity to jump up to the top to go with Bali, but I think Bali had closed, or was there.
That was close.
Just made contact. Might have surprised Bali and not enough time to check up.
James Moore picked up some damage in that job. I believe the 115 of Mike Thompson got into the back of the 12 also as a reaction to the 5 going around.
A little bit of contact there for Moore and Thompson.
I don't know if you're going to pull up the replay on what happened to Campbell, but that was just, looks like a push in the middle of the tri-over, and Josh, that's not a place where you want to push. It might think like it's going to send you somewhere, yeah, it's going to send you into the grass, and that's what happened. A crazy save, though, for the 18 car.
See if we can go back to that.
Started with a little bit of a checkup from the guy right ahead of him, but he's got, I believe it was Mike Thompson who ended up in the other incident right on his back bumper.
Well, a lot to dissect there, but we're going to go green with 3 to go. Seraph Loving, the front row. Kupchak and Kruger. Jay Bast and Daniel Ott, row 3. Row 4, it's Brian Molitor, Samuel Stoner. And row 5, Tom Wendt and James Moore.
How about Tom Wendt in that Bobby Allison paint scheme, Josh?
Yeah, it's a really good looking scheme.
Bobby had a lot of great and historic, obviously, paint schemes, but that one, every time that one's replicated, it always looks amazing. They asked all the drivers if they wanted this caution shortened after what we saw with that first caution period in this short little sprint race. So, like you mentioned, Josh, green with 3 to go in the sprint to determine the top 10 starting lineup invert of this from this top 10 results here. And it's going to be a full-on shootout with these guys at the front. You mentioned the first 5 rows. And these first 3 or 4 rows, very aggressive, very, very, very aggressive from what we have seen in just the 13 laps we've already completed here tonight. Or getting ready to complete, I should say.
Who wants it more?
And as we've said, they don't have to race these cars in the main event in just a few minutes. So it's going to be all out as they hit the restart zone.
Green flag back out. A great jump for Seraph, but it's the outside line. Has the momentum. Loving tucks in, actually.
That's what I was going to wonder. I was going to ask how many people are going to be outside, and you mentioned Loving. Bailed on it right away from the outside pole. Field kind of spread out just a little bit as they head onto the backstretch, Josh.
Yeah, restart was very calm. I think maybe unorganized by a lot of drivers. This outside line just has nothing but Kupchak. He wants to make something of it.
Uh-oh, they're brewing in the middle of the field here.
And now drivers are fanning out any line they can find. So look at Hoopchak getting pushed by Kruger. They're making some steam. 2 laps to go.
James Moore pushed by the 24 Dustin Bally. Big momentum on that top line. If they can stay hooked together and not slingshot like that so much.
This track is wide enough. You can make it 3 wide easily. 4 wide. I don't know if we have enough cars to make 4 wide work momentumly, but
Daniel Ott is going to be the guy, Josh, going all the way to the top. Never mind, he backs out of it.
oh, he thinks again, goes back out there. He's got more pushing him.
That's going to destroy the momentum for the 7.
Kruger looked like he wanted to jump up. White flag is out. 1 more lap here from Talladega in the sprint race. Daniel Ott being pushed by Moore. Hoopchak being pushed by Kruger. Seraph being pushed by Loving. 3 wide for the lead.
Someone gets turned in the back. 41.
Oh, there. All kinds of contact. That top line is dissipated. It's just Ott. So the battle.
Huge push to the 7.
Kruger. He's really pushing Hoopchak. Checker flag. Seraph got him.
Very close finish there. I had no idea, Josh. But
It was too close for me.
Yeah, 67, Nick Seraph. Great race. I mentioned how really aggressive he was early on making moves. He wanted to control every lane every time he got towards the front. And he made sure of that on that last restart. He didn't make his car as wide as we had seen the previous laps up to that point, but he was just keeping it on the bottom and keeping the momentum strong.
Let's see if we can talk to him. And Adam, you want to do the honors?
Sure. Hey, Nick, it's the guys in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing after that sprint win? A really fun race for us to watch. You looked very aggressive out there.
Yeah, it was a good one. Everybody was pushing hard. It was back of the cars were sliding around a lot, but Steve glued to my bumper, so I guess I owe him a beer now.
I think so. After that, that was a fun restart. To see it all play out with 3 to go there, the field kind of got spread out a little bit at the drop. What did you think of that, and how they all came back to you there in the last lap and a half?
Yeah, I kind of got worried on that start because I wasn't expecting to get as good of a jump as I did, and I looked in my mirror and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get blown by like I got an anchor tied to me. But thankfully, like I said, Steve stuck to my bumper, and I guess we're even now because I pushed him to a few wins before, so I think we're good now.
Well, now you have to start row 5 here for the main event, 32 laps. You're going to be a little bit worried about the tires sliding from you here with a little bit longer run.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a caution. So if we do that, maybe I'll get some tires and just ride in the back and not make my move too soon. Try to play it right and hope I got some friends around me that'll help go to the front. See if I can wrap this up, go 1-1.
Well, you mentioned Steve. Anyone else you want to shout out or thank after that sprint win here tonight?
Just Dustin and the guys and Evan for putting this league on. It's a lot of fun. My mom and dad are watching, so I know they got a kick out of that. My wife, a bunch of my friends all watch. So thanks to all y'all, and hopefully we can put a good show on in the future.
All right, good luck. We'll be watching.
All right, thank you.
And that was the... Oh, sorry, Josh.
Nope, you're good.
That was Nick Seraph, our sprint race winner here, as the little warm-up session has completed, Josh.
And we are about to get into the feature. So, Benson Weaver, James Moore is going to be the front row. Samuel Stoner, Brian Molitor make up third and fourth. Dustin Bally starts fifth. Jay Bass sixth. Michael Kruger seventh. Steve Loving eighth. Evan Hupchak ninth. And Nick Seraph in 10th. Those drivers have been inverted because finishing in the top 10.
Daniel Ott, we saw his run to the front, and you mentioned hit the outside just completely dissipating. He fell to 11th place. That's where he will start here. Alongside him is Tom Wheat in the 28. In 12th position, Brandon Carlos starts 13th on the grid with Laura Wiseman, our second fastest qualifier. Slot tonight in 14th on the grid with Johnny Rapp in 15th. 16th is Mike Thompson in the 115. Chuck Labano 17th. Nathan Gentry 18th. And Brandon Brush 19th, with Robert Brobst involved in a few incidents there on the last lap in that sprint race, rounding out the top 10 rows.
Ryan Campbell and Aaron Bray will start 21st, 22nd. I believe Sanchinelli still not here, so I think we're just going to have 22 starters tonight in the feature. .32 laps, and we know we'll see a pit stop. Will it be a green flag stop, or will it be under yellow? Pace car is in. Outside the restart zone, green flag is out. And we're on our way in the feature, the Road and Plate Palm Rat Golf Series season finale at Talladega. The outside line super strong. Dustin Molly dropping to the back. This actually might help James Moore.
Yeah, I wanted to mention on that pace lap, if we had a little bit more time, I wanted to say how excited I was to see James Moore up at the front of the field. He looked really strong in that sprint race. I think he has a lot of opportunity to keep it calm, keep it up front. I don't even think he really got the chance in that sprint race to get into the top 4 or 5 to break through. He was there, but not really enough to be in the picture the entire race. So you see the outside continue just to dissipate in terms of car numbers, but they are staying strong with the pace to be dead even into turn 3.
And if you look behind that front row, you'll see Samuel Stoner second on the inside, and Jay Bass third on the outside line.
Those two were pretty close, pretty much the entire once we got into the green flag racing, and I don't think that's going to change tonight into the feature here, as you mentioned. They're pretty close on track right now. The inside finally gets an advantage.
It's Weaver is pretty much almost clear of Moore. lot of movement going on that outside line. That's just going to break him up, lose some momentum, and just help that inside line.
Moore led the last lap at the line. Looked like Weaver was going to be able to clear, like you mentioned, he was completely clear down the back straightaway, most of turn 3, but the good run through turn 4. Could be close again at the stripe between these two. It's going to be Weaver. So you mentioned movement on the outside. Again, more cars trying to make that third line viable, but it's just going to break up that second groove, but it's not hurting James Moore at all. He's just continuing to fight and be aggressive up here with the side draft.
James Moore is just hoping for one thing, and that right now is that Brian Molitor continues to push.
More and more cars jumping to that third line closer to the front of them.
Tom Wendt goes up there. Wiseman follows.
Laura went up there. She's been trying out that line that last about 2 or 3 laps.
5 cars in the middle. About 7 on top and the rest on the bottom.
Landon Brush is going to be the 3rd car right now in the outside lane, involved in that last lap crash we saw on the back straightaway. The 7's going to drop out of line.
Jack not liking what he's seeing. How about Molitor? Moore kind of moving up just a little bit. Stop the momentum of Tom Wendt.
Ooh. Don't know what happened there. It's not over yet. That was a crazy save from Tom Wendt. I'm not sure what started it, but he and the 4 made slight contact in the center of 3 and 4, Josh, and just shot both of them really up the track. And 28 got the wall, and they are still being aggressive, really dicing it up. It was Michael Kruger making a bolt to the outside in front of Moore.
Kruger saw an opportunity, took it, and it is paying off. Kruger's about to be side by side with Weaver, and here comes Bast.
Yeah, that might not pay off for Kruger. He's going to be aggressive here to keep a lane, keep a lead in the lane. I messed that up. You know what I mean.
Jay Bast and it's Chuck Labato on that outside line.
Thought they were going to have more people follow them. And though they are, they're just not going to be the leaders. They're going to ditch Kruger again, leave him in the middle. Like we saw in the sprint race earlier, Josh.
So Kruger is going to be picked up by Brobst. Oh, Wiseman goes around hard into the wall. And Hoopchak involved. Wiseman almost up on a roof. Got down on all 4 wheels.
Bunch of cars destroyed in this. Josh is going to take out maybe a third of the field's faster pair here.
For wide, maybe. Yeah, Tom Wendt. A little bit of contact there with Wiseman. See there what happened to the 84, but there is so much more than that.
There was a chain reaction once the 84 got hooked. It just started spinning cars down the track and wiping out other innocent bystanders in the bottom groove. 52 took a big shot. Johnny Rapp was just riding a line on the bottom and just gets hooked straight into the outside wall.
A lot of cars involved in that one.
And you mentioned Hoopchuk dropping to the back and getting involved in that driving right into the 84 Laura Wiseman. He had nowhere to go in that though. He dropped to the back, but he didn't drop far enough, Josh, to avoid an incident at the rear of the field, which is exactly what happened here. Engine looks like it blew on the 7 as a result of that contact. That's no shock there. So, Evan, who tried to get out of the mess from what he saw, put himself in the mess.
We rode on board there with Hoopchak. Most of the time, cars will wash up the track as they're wrecking. They'll kind of go back up the track. And for Hoopchak, there just wasn't enough time to really react to...
There was nothing he could have done there.
No. Wiseman getting or spinning down the track. It was just awful timing.
Yeah, the 84 just ricocheted right into his path. Josh, I'm looking at live pictures right now, and we had a little bit of a split decision on terms of pit road here under this caution. You mentioned it's going to be mandatory with the fuel situation in this race tonight that you're going to have to make a pit stop. And a lot of people wondering about what the tire wear is going to be like for double the length of what we ran in a sprint race. It's going to be really interesting if we have another situation play out like what we had at Daytona a couple weeks ago, where we have a rash of early cautions and then goes green rest of the way. What is this strategy going to play out like? Because it did not go in a lot of people's favors a few weeks ago.
I'll tell you, everybody has the same thing in mind right now, and that is save. Save, save, save. Whether you just came down pit road, whether you stayed out, still want to save as much fuel as possible. And if we do get a bunch of yellows, I mean, it's just going to help save more fuel. You're not going to be able to make it regardless. You do have to pit no matter what. But I think these guys, they are all just with the mindset of saving as much fuel as possible. One, it's going to make it to where your time in your box is shorter. Less fuel that needs to be added into the car. And two, if it plays just right, and you get a caution, it could be a difference of a lap or two, whenever that could come out.
Steve Loving led those who decided to pit under this yellow down pit road. He and Mikey Kruger, and it was 27 and Jay Bast in the 53 that won the race off the pit road. They are scored in 8th. I'm not sure what happened to Loving. Oh, looks like he topped off again with Kruger, the 67 and the 5. So 4 very strong cars. And I don't think it was just them that either that all topped off on this lap, Josh.
No. Tom went. Might have as well. No. Showing Loving, Brooks, Seraph, and Kruger. That all came back down pit road.
I was looking at damaged cars, or formerly damaged cars that were taking fast repairs. So that's what threw me off. So, a bunch of strategy at play here. It's going to be interesting with a few fresh names up at the front of the field.
Yeah, different names cycling up to the front. Very curious to know how some of these guys that have been up front, how they're going to react to getting back up front.
Jay Bast on that strategy way out back now after topping off, and Stone is going to be outside poster here for this restart.
Inside the restart zone, green flag back out. Weaver wasted no time.
and by way out back on the 8. But look at the separation here on this restart. Kind of like what we saw at the end of the sprint race. These top 4. Poor James Moore.
Yeah.
Just getting driven away from.
Oh, Labano. Looks like he was going to go with Moore and then pulled out of line.
It's going to get sketchy here when these guys catch them.
Look at Aaron Bray. The 11. Trying to...
Sorry, Josh.
You're fine. Bray's going up to the top. Bass finds a hole.
8th to 5th in that one lap there on the restart. Oh my! Very aggressive move there to get underneath the 12. It almost bit him, almost snapped too much trying to get to the bottom. Poor James Moore getting really taken advantage of on this restart as the field's going to freight train him on the inside.
You'll find a spot between Molitor and Bali.
For now, until they do the same thing again. Could be Labano making a move on the outside.
Labano with Thompson and Moore. More drivers are starting to find their way up to the top line.
Josh, I'm curious how tight it is on the fuel window. It must be very close because those guys who kept pitting under that last caution are kind of just towing the pack right now.
I think they're definitely going to be close.
Daniel Ott went a little bit up the track there, entering turn 1, stacked up 53 J Bass, and pretty much everyone behind him in the outside lane kind of checked up a little bit too. Put the top 2 on just a bit of a separation. Now Urbano's going to get to the right rear of Stoner's, maybe some contact there in the corner. That looked very strange.
I don't even know what happened there. That was strange, but everybody's still going straight. Just kind of looked like, you know, I noticed actually just before Ott did it, Stoner kind of looked like his car was going to go around, and then Ott, I don't know, it's weird. There's no contact at all. I can't explain it other than iRacing physics, but everybody's going straight. And Labano, he has a head of steam right now.
Well, remember, Stoner hasn't changed his tires yet. Could be tire wear on that 65, and I'm not sure if Daniel Ott has or not. You have that data, I'm sure you can tell and correct me. But these guys up front did not hit. It's still, you know, I wouldn't think very long enough from tire wear to make a difference at Talladega, especially with the caution that we had. But they were complaining after the sprint race about the rears slipping, so. And we did see some big moves at the end of that sprint race, I think, that had some contribution to that tire effect.
So far, Weaver and Stoner are still clear. Labano is side by side with Ott. Stoner doing everything he can to help Weaver stay out front. Now Lobano side by side with Stoner. A lot of wiggling going on with these cars. That outside line just, yeah, they're struggling right now.
115, Mike Thompson jumping way out of line here, bailing out. It looks like.
Chuck Lobano, no help at the moment. Here comes James Moore. Jay Bass moving up. Daniel Lott gonna move up with him. Moore goes even higher.
He's got the 77, Brandon Carlo in tow. The first time we've seen that 77 up here in the mix, at the front of the field.
Two cars in that third lane.
Make it 3. Here comes the 67. Nick Seraph hasn't really been up at the front of the field at all in this feature race, Josh.
And they're going to kind of fade back. Moore finds a spot now in front of Lobano. So it's Weaver or not side by side for the lead. And then you got Bass and Stoner side by side.
Racing for that bracket that we mentioned top of the show. Keep mentioning they've been stuck side by side a lot of this night so far. There was almost a big moment between these two a few corners ago. Off of turn 2. Looked like the 53 had just barely gotten into the back of the 29, almost sent him around, and that would have wiped out, if not the entire top 4, the entire top 10 maybe, with the way these guys were stacking up on top of each other. Big moves. It's 29 goes to the lead, going to try and block both lanes. Jay Bass may get the advantage. Stoner's going to fall back here.
Really see how these guys are struggling with tires. I think Bali has seen enough. He backs out.
65 is just getting shaken all over the place, it looks like. It's a big shunt from the 77 to the 53 up front.
Jay Bass clears. So does Carl. They both move down. James Moore going to be leading the line, but Lobano wants to.
Intensity is really spiked up here in the last lap.
Brandon Carl looks like he's peaking a little bit. If Moore gets closer, Carl might jump up there.
Moore tried to make it down to the bottom fade like everyone else has been doing and made some contact with Weaver, it looked like, into turn 1, Josh. Both did a great job saving it.
Intensity is really picking up.
7, Evan Upchuk trying to be back in this mix. Third car on the outside. I believe he was one of the only ones involved in that early incident to go with a brand new car. He had to. He had a blown engine. I believe the 3 other drivers just chose to repair their car because they are either a lap down or 2 laps down.
Right now it's making Evan Hubchak look like a genius. Unless he's involved in another accident.
That's the worry.
Jay Bass still comfortably leading this with Brandon Carl and Daniel Lott behind him.
I think we got pit stops coming here, Josh, the way the field's moving. There goes the 12. That's going to go also Stoner, Weaver, the 115 Thompson. Some pretty fast pit entries here.
We'll have to see if there's any penalties. But right now, it is Chuck Labano making his way to the front, side by side with Brandon Carl. Hoopchak pushing Labano. And Labano's going to go all the way to the top.
And stop. I don't know what's happening.
They're 4 wide.
The 346 it looks like he's just dead in the water.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
And did he just disappear?
He is coming down pit road as well as Aaron Bray.
He just pitted from the 4th lane. Okay. That really sprung out this pack. It was really dicey. We had a lot of people making big moves to the front of the field out of nowhere, and they got held up from that as a result. It was getting really racy here in the middle of a pit cycle.
So Brandon Carl.
Sorry, Josh.
I was going to say Brandon Carl is the leader. Go ahead, though.
Those 5 cars we saw a few laps ago, none of them are linked up than Stoner and someone else. I can't quite make out who that is yet, but everyone else is all spread out of those 5. Looks like it's more on the back of Stoner, and actually it's not even him. It's Warren Weaver. I'm sorry.
Warren Weaver. More drivers coming down pit road. Carl Bast and Brush. So Steve Loving now the leader. There's 8 laps to go. We might have a yellow. James Moore stopped on the track. Heavy damage. Caution is out. Let's see what happened here. He was behind Weaver. What? What in the world was that?
Oh, I have seen that on Twitter. Oh no. Oh. He almost accidentally caused a terrible, terrible wreck where he stopped because the pack was flying right into where he was parked. That throws so many wrenches into this. Like, glitch aside on what happened to him, that is extremely, extremely unfortunate on so many levels.
I don't even know what to say.
Have you seen that glitch before, Josh?
No.
I have a few times posted on Twitter, but not with the Xfinity cars. I've seen a lot of clips of it, and it's usually next gen. Where you and it's usually like in the middle of the pack where you're pushing and then you just stop. You just hit the car in front of you's bumper wrong, and the game just makes you come to a complete stop for some reason. Oops, I said game. I'm sorry.
I don't... I don't know. But, you know what I do know? I do know that life's really not that complicated, and neither should it be when looking for golf clothes that fit your lifestyle. Palmrat Golf is designed to allow you to move seamlessly from the office to the fairway to hanging with friends and family. Visit palmratgolf.com today to browse their collection of fine golf apparel, including polos, pullovers, pants, and more. I just realized I hadn't done that. Palm Rat Golf, of course, being the entitlement sponsor of the series. Go check them out, palmratgolf.com. I still have no idea. I feel so bad for Moore. I mean, that is so unfortunate. Looks like drivers on the apron trying to save fuel. Loving, Seraph, Molitor, Kruger, Went.
I mentioned about 10 or 15 laps ago during that green flag run that these guys, specifically the ones now in the top 5, 6, 7, that when they topped off under that previous caution, that they were just kind of riding around back of the pack, not really just, just kind of riding there and logging laps. Wondered if they were saving for an overtime or something, or if it was just that close for fuel. It looks like it's this close on fuel right now, Josh, with how aggressive a lot of these guys are saving under all of these pace laps.
And see, you just said a key word. And this is the reason I am not a fan of this strategy. If it works, it works. But I'm still not going to be a fan of it. And the reason is because if there is an overtime, then what do you do? If you're Loving, Seraph, Bropes, I mean, what in this situation, or even Hoopchak. So, Loving, Seraph, and Ropes were down pit road 19 laps ago. Molitor 20, Hoopchak 21. Then you go back to Kruger with 19 laps ago. I feel more comfortable if I'm one of those guys 19 laps ago. You're Hoopchak. 21, that's 2 more laps there as opposed to Loving and the others that I just mentioned.
And another thing on Hoopchak, he did a fast repair. I wonder how far back behind the pack he dropped taking that fast repair, and how long of a pace lap he had to do, not saving at all, going full throttle to catch back up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're good to make it in 5 laps and 4 when we go back green, but I'm really going to be concerned if there is even just one green-white checker.
It's the danger on trying to do strategy backwards, especially at plate tracks, because almost never do we go to scheduled distance.
You're Brandon Carl, Chuck Labano, Daniel Ott, and those guys. You're just saying, all right, you guys in front of me, you can all run out.
Shout out Nathan Gentry, running in the 9th position right now, 33 car. He had a huge run brewing on the outside before everything kind of stacked up there, with Chuck Labano just kind of fading whatever happened to that a few laps ago. He kind of got hosed by that, but I think he's going to be fun to watch because he looked very aggressive in those final few laps before the caution came out. And we haven't said his name, I don't think, at all, other than the starting grid.
Pace car is in, and they are inside the restart zone. Green flag back out. 4 to go. Outside line wasted no time.
They just gotta hope they keep these cars up front, linked together, and stay together. It's not working well at the back of the field, but these top 5 on the outside going to stay close as they head to the back straightaway.
Seraph is going to get clear, jump down to the bottom. Ropes and Kruger on the outside line. Kruger is in a very aggressive pusher. Can he help Brobst?
One post pitting here.
It's Chuck Labano. Brobst out front.
3rd car on the outside, Josh. It is Johnny Rapp, who was involved in that big crash earlier. Another one of those guys who took a fast repair So they are having shenanigans at the back of the pack. They are racing aggressive up front. Ropes and Seraph side by side.
Daniel Ott moves all the way to the top line. He's currently got like no help at the moment. Johnny Rapp taking a peek.
If he waits just a few moments, he's gonna have a lot of help. Oh, maybe not. If they go higher.
We're coming to 2 to go. Still advantage Probst. Kruger looking. Kruger stays in line for now.
Dustin Bally was making hay on that high groove before he got to Ott. Is he going to continue the momentum? He's got more behind him, who has been, of course, one of the best cars tonight, even after that incident, Josh. He's still on track, 2 laps behind. He's going to play a role in this.
Now 3 wide for the race lead. Sarah. Well, they were. But Probst and Ott were the other 2. Loving is now clear.
Bally has the 12 all in his exhaust pipes pretty much off of turn 4.
White flag is waving. We're going to take the white. 3 wide for the race lead.
There go your concerns on overtime, Josh.
I guess the concern now is there still enough fuel in these tanks?
Oh, that's way past their time that they've made their bed. Big bobbles off of turn 2. Ropes with a little bit of a run in the middle somehow.
Oh, big wiggle out of Probst. Seraph.
He was driving straight the entire time.
Seraph clear. Coming off turn 4. They're trying to wreck in the back. Here comes Probst. Side by side with Seraph. Here comes Ott. It's gonna be some wrecking. Still wrecking. Probst got him. Ott finishes second. And Seraph gets third.
It's a horrific crash. I don't think we have seen one quite like that, Josh, across the line at Talladega on JCTV. That was everyone. Someone Corey LaJoy it. No, they were completely upside down crossing the line. Oh my gosh, it was Bally.
Take a look at this replay. And he's still on his roof. And then just casually flips back over.
Kruger also took a really, really nasty flip.
He was inside fast.
Infield Care Center is going to be very, 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 very congested after this one.
Samuel Stoner finished 13th. Bast finished 15th.
Oh my goodness.
So it's going to be Samuel Stoner, winner of the bracket.
They were side by side at the triover, Josh. It was, if you watch the replay on this, it was just who bulldozed through the pile fastest. This is crazy. I'm watching from above the grandstand on the 65, and it's just insane.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't really much of a race. It was just demo derby. I'm not surprised it ended up that way. Like I said countless times on the broadcast, they were just stuck together. It would only be fitting that they were side by side in the tri-oval, driving head on into that.
This is a lot of just craziness all over on that last lap. And that caps it off with the bracket challenge.
Two cars missed the crash, and I don't even think I can count them missing that crash because it was Evan and the 28 who were Tom who were involved in their own mess off of turn 4. So I don't think that's their excuse on how they missed the crash. They crashed themselves off of turn 4.
Well, let's go ahead and talk to our top 3. And also, I do want to see if we can get a word with Stoner as well. And our champion as well. So we've got a lot of interviews coming up. So we'll start with our third place finisher. And, well, this time it was a third place finish for you here in the feature. It was wild out there, and quite honestly, I'm not so sure that I was sold a lot of people had enough fuel to make it. But walk us through how that went for you.
Well, it kind of worked out the plan. Steve and I kind of had a plan going, and it almost worked. We were close. That caution that came out kind of screwed us, but we were able to somehow just save enough to I ended up being a lap good, and I think he ended up being a lap good. So it was close. It was scary, but we made it.
It was pretty wild out there. That last lap, though, I really just want to talk about that last lap. You know, there was... Adam just told me everybody was involved in the accident on that last lap.
I believe it.
Going through it. I mean, was there anything on your mind, just, you know, as you guys are all hauling to the start-finish line?
Not really. My main objective was just hug that yellow line as much as I could, and I knew that the outside was going to have a little bit of a run off the corner, but I was praying that Steve and Brian would have enough momentum to keep me up front, and we almost did, but we were about 100 feet short.
All right, well, sponsors, shout-outs, who gets it done for you?
Man, gotta thank Steve for helping me out with a lot other than racing. He's a good guy. Dustin and Evan for putting the races on, and I'm excited for next season. My mom and dad, my brother, my wife, my kids. Man, the list goes on and on. But it's finally good to finish the season out on a strong note. I'll take a P3 over a P22 or whatever it is.
For sure. Well, congrats on the great night tonight overall, the win in the sprint and third in the feature here, and looking forward to seeing you next time out, just here in a couple weeks when the next season starts.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully you keep this momentum rolling, but we appreciate you guys doing the broadcast, and can't wait for next season.
All right, congrats on the podium.
Thank you.
And that was Nick Seraph, third place finisher. And I don't see Ott available. I'll message him. I also don't see our champion available. I'll message him. So let's actually go ahead and see if we can get a word with Stoner. And Adam, I will let you do this one.
Hey Sam, it's the guys in the booth. You got a copy?
Howdy.
Well, crazy finish there from your perspective, racing for the bracket challenge. You guys were
Yes,
side
sir.
by side in the tryover. Did you know that?
Oh yeah. Oh, I was well aware of where that man was.
Okay, well that makes sense because both of you just completely full throttle in that crash. Not much you can else really do there. But what was your thoughts on that? Just seeing that devolve right in front of you and you have nowhere to go.
I mean, until everything settled down and the smoke cleared, I had no idea who even finished ahead at all because it was so tight. I just knew I had to hammer down and hope I could push enough cars that were sideways out of my way to cross the line before Jay did.
Exactly what happened too. I've been watching a lot of replays of this. I was just enamored by this finish. It's just so crazy with you guys fighting for that in the midst of the pack. Overall, though, take us back quite a bit in the race for yourself. A lot of craziness. You were up front a lot, and then just stuff would happen and it would set you back. Could you take us through your race from your perspective?
Well, we were running up front for most of it, like you said, and then that yellow came out shortly after we took our green flag pit stop, which we did as a little group of people who were communicating so that we could hopefully get back up to the field and hopefully retake the lead again. But then with that yellow, it set us back. I was just fortunate that somehow Jay ended up taking the pit stop just after us, so he ended up behind me on that restart. I think if that hadn't worked out how it did, I probably wouldn't have managed this bracket situation.
Overall, how'd the night go for that 65 car? You mentioned up front and the pit strategy kind of going awry there with the caution. Just the 3-lap shootout as well, also like you mentioned, being a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good overall. There wasn't a whole lot, happening for the most part. When I was just up there pushing old Weaver in the one car, he was doing a good job, just leading the pack, taking the pushes, and then it just all kind of shook out to the point where it was just going to be a shootout, and I just had to kind of hope for the best. Had to kind of fight my way past a couple of cars there. I think Bray. He was kind of the obstacle between me and Jay, but once I was able to clear him, it was kind of just a drag race right up to the end.
Well, congratulations, Sam, on winning the $50 iRacing credit award for the Road and Plate Palm Rat Golf Bracket Challenge. Who do you want to shout out and thank after this crazy finish to get that tonight?
Oh, my parents, my family, they all watch this. I'm gonna end up showing it to my grandpa. He's currently in the hospital right now, but he's doing all right. He's doing all right. He's recovering. He's gonna be back here pretty soon. So we'll take a look at this. I got to thank him for being so supportive of all this. Got the sponsors, Palm Rat Golf, for basically funding this whole thing, funding the broadcast, and you guys being here, and you guys do a great job. So thank y'all as well.
And real quick before we let you go, Sam, just a few off weeks. How are you feeling about heading into next season? Obviously, it wasn't the overall result you wanted on the leaderboard tonight, but you still ended up with the main goal on the prize that you were aiming for tonight.
Oh yeah. I'm not some kind of expert at all this road course stuff, but I think I handle pretty well for myself. Usually, I'm looking for about a top 5 or something like that. Didn't exactly go, super according to plan, but I have a fun time doing all this. It's a good time.
All right, well, congratulations again, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Was Samuel Stoner, the number 65 car, who ended up winning, like I mentioned, Josh, the $50 iRacing credits from the bracket challenge that ended up ending tonight here in the season finale. It started all the way back at Daytona, like you mentioned.
Yeah, congrats to him on that. Nice chunk of change. Let's go ahead and talk to our race winner. And I'm here with our race winner, Robert Brobst. What a wild ending to that one.
I mean, first off, I'm just happy you said my last name right, because that is not an easy one to pull off.
Well, we do have somebody in another league named Probst, and so I just assumed it was
yeah.
the same thing, but with a B.
It is.
Well, I've been saying it right this whole time. That's awesome. Well, congrats on the win tonight. First of all, it was a great race. You were doing a great job all night long, and honestly, and I said the same thing to Seraph. I wasn't so sure that the fuel strategy or the pit strategy you guys were doing was going to work out.
I was a half a lap to the good when that caution came out. But I didn't know how it was going to play out with the with everybody pitting and us having to sustain our own after the draft went away. So I didn't have a ton of confidence.
I gotcha.
But it all worked out in the end. I got to ride around under a caution. I got to clutch. I got to save 2 or 3 laps of gas and go full bore for 3 or 4 laps. And my leg's still shaking because the adrenaline is making my foot jump.
Were you worried at all about a green-white checkered?
It wasn't even in my mind because as soon as that third lane showed up with, what was it, like 1.5 or 2 to go almost, as soon as Dan Ott and Dustin shot up to the outside of me, it was like, I'm 3 wide, don't crash. And it wasn't even on my mind that a green-white checker could happen. But before I forget, because I'm not great at interviews, because I struggle to hit podiums, you got to thank Evan Hubchek, that's it, with Pomrad Golf, and Dustin for putting on the league and sponsoring the broadcasts and, well, sponsoring everything, because those 2 guys, they pay for everything that we're watching. With Pomrat Golf and Dustin's bank account.
For sure. Well, actually, I was going to ask you if there was any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to give. So, I mean, anybody else you'd like to thank?
I mean, I'm going to send... Well, now I have a reason to send the link out, because usually I show up to these things, I run okay, and then I crash and finish like 20th. But now I've got a reason to send the link out, so I'm going to send it to a couple people, and if they watch it all the way through to see me get interviewed, hi, Dad. Hello, Tab. But I doubt they'll watch. They kind of ignore my texts.
All right, well, hey, congrats on the win. Great win for you. And we'll see you next time out.
All right. I'll see you guys in Daytona in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Take care. I'm still not seeing Daniel Ott. So, there's only one more interview for tonight, and that is with our champion. And Brian Molitor, how about that championship winning season?
It was a bit of a surprise. I in the previous season couldn't really get good finishes at the plate races, and there was always a strong competition at the road tracks too. I didn't think I'd be able to put together a championship run. It's pretty surprising, but I was pretty happy with it. I think if anything, it shows that I came a bit of a ways on the plate tracks this season.
And you had, let's see, how many wins? 6 wins on the season. That is way more than anybody else. I think the next closest was Aaron Smith, who had 4. And I'm seeing a lot of 1. So, I mean, it was really a dominant season for you all throughout. Both the road races and the plate races. Is there any, I guess looking back, is there any race that you wish had played out differently?
Honestly, no.
No.
I don't think there is. There were a handful of races I went into and thinking like, oh, this isn't my track. This isn't going to be my race. And Daytona would be one, and last week at Red Bull Ring as well. I just never feel good at those tracks, and those actually ended up good. I think having those things go your way helped a lot in putting together a championship. When you're able to do well at the tracks that you're just not comfortable at, then it makes it a lot easier, I think. Probably Atlanta would be the only one I look back on. Made some dumb moves there, and speaking of learning how to do the plate tracks, I think that was a big catalyst for that. Realizing I have to do things differently.
Well, it's a very short off season, only a couple weeks, and then it's right back into it for season 5. So, how are you going to look into going into season 5 to try to defend this title?
Well, I suppose Aaron Smith will probably be back, so that'll be step one, is go faster than Aaron Smith. And Dustin Bawley's always there, so go faster than him, and then just try and keep up the momentum I've got on plate tracks. I think those are the things you'd have to do to repeat.
All right, well, sponsor shout-outs. Who gets it done for you?
Well, Palmrat Golf for sponsoring the league. Without them, this isn't happening, and we don't get to have all these fun races at plate tracks and road courses. And Dustin for organizing it. He picked some good combos and let some of the other guys pick some good combos this year. A lot of fun racing. And then last but not least, you up in the booth, Josh. It was a good season. Thanks for calling the races.
Yeah, it's been a blast for sure, and thank you for that. And just congrats on the championship. It was a great season for you, and definitely not surprised to be having this interview with you.
All right, well, I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you here shortly for next season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, take care. And that was your champion, Brian Molitor. So, Adam, closing thoughts?
Man, I'm not sure. What a wild way to cap off a season of Road and Plate. As everyone mentioned in their interviews, thanks to Palmrat Golf for supporting this series and bringing it to us on JCTV. It was fun for me to make a start a few weeks back at Daytona. I wish that went a little bit better and wish I was able to make a few more starts throughout the season. But I'm looking forward to what's going to be next here for season 5, our second season on JCTV. Just like I mentioned a moment ago, just unbelievable way to end the season, end the race. It was a crazy competitive race tonight, Josh. I don't think that is unexpected for being Talladega, of course, but just the level that it was on tonight, from the sprint to the feature, it was so aggressive right from the word go.
Yeah, it was a fun race tonight to watch, to call, and to bring to you guys. It's been a fun season. I have loved every minute of this season, and I'm looking forward to what season 5 is going to have. It's going to be pretty exciting. So here in a couple weeks, you can find that right here on JCTV, and we still have action coming up on JCTV. I mean, Saturday night we have Michigan for the Laser Sim Racing Amsoil Truck Series. My home track. Looking forward to that one. And Well, they've only actually that's going to be the penultimate race. A couple more races left in their season before crowning a champion next week. But going to be a lot of fun coming up for us, and we thank you guys for tuning in. As always, thanks to drivers and the admins as well for all they do. Palmer Golf for supporting the league, and just want to give a shout out to Jonathan Canfield once again for being here for most of the season, commentating these races with me. Happy birthday to his little girl. And Adam, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I believe that's it. So on behalf of everybody, JCTV, I'm Joshua Coppernell, signing off, saying so long, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.